Hello, hello. Welcome to Universe Talk. I'm Kiana Horn, and this is having a conversation about topics that are universal, that we all know, but we really don't talk about too much. And that's where I like to come in and to really dive deep into those topics. So, let me get everything situated. Hold on. Because this is a reading too. So, if you're wondering when you get into the doorway, is it going to be any readings? Yes. It's going to be some readings up in here. So, the topic is, what does a title do? Alright. The best way I can come and talk about a title is pretty much what I've experienced. For one, as a title, when it comes to relationships, I am single. Yet, the situations that I've been around will require me to have some type of sight when it comes to relationships. So a lot of times I would think I would find solutions for relationships that are friendships, that are business-wise or career, that are romantic, yes. I would say, yeah, of that. But when it comes to the title, right? The title has always been who I've been talking to, I guess, in my atmosphere when it comes to these topics, or that title, is usually not single people. It's usually people that are coupled up or that are married. And I'm very flattered because I've come from situations that were of marriage. I've been commonly law married before. I've had, I can get a gist of that when it comes to couples. I've had experiences with couple relations. I've had many couple, I've been involved in couple relationships when it comes to either, and I think that's what it is. Again, title. So when I would come across a situation that requires my tenderness or tender-hearted advice, I can only come from a place of being single. And a lot of times people would say, well, you're intuitive, you know about people's emotions and energies. How can you not come with some type of tangible solutions when it comes to either coupled or married relationships, and especially since you have come from them? And I'm like, well, because if I had to be truthful, I can only come from a place that where I'm at now, because the people that I know are in situations that are coupled or marriage. So again, I would have to be of that same environment. And because I'm not, that's when I can only give a truth when it comes to how that person might feel. Hey, studio. Yes. Press the thumbs up to let me know you are you're on the couch with me. Having this talk. So yes. Studio, when it comes to having talks with people in your life, right? A lot of times they would think your truth will be coming from a place, thank you, will be coming from a place that is relatable to them. Meaning, if a friend of yours came to you in regards to relationships, you would first have to look at the title that that person has with them, right? Like, are in a couple relationship? Are is are they? Are you single? Are you married? Are you in a monogamous relationship? Are you monogamous? Are you polygamy? Are you open? Have an open relationship? Like, these titles gives a direction. Does that make sense, studio? When it comes to relationships, let me make sure I got. Hey, you can hear me? Oh, it's okay. Okay, tell me, why is it funny I'm talking about this now? Let me hold up. Let me, because I'm also cooking at the same time. Yes, I'm single, but I'm also a mommy. And if I wasn't a mommy, again, I'm a person, so I gotta eat too, right? Oh, you have no same thoughts? Okay, this is why the universal talk sector is in the house right now. So, what thoughts are you having, studio, in regards to titles? Because this is something that's been the main reason why making Kiki's Doorway, besides learning about the stars and the zodiacs and how we feel emotionally, energetically, about our past life, our present, all that relates to our perception about relationships. Because based on the exposure we had of it, thank you, then we can determine how we're going to have that drive and what we're going to really do with it. For example, I'm single, yet I'm looking at spousehood. Again, a lot of people that come to me, when it comes to either this reading or just talking like person to person, a lot of them are in relationships, like coupled or married. And when I tell them I can only tell them about emotions and energy, they say, well, why can't you tell me about how to solve my marriage or how to solve my understanding of being a couple? And I'm like, because I'm not a couple. I'm not coupled with anybody. Prime example. If I was to give say for instance, a couple came to me for advice and I gave it to them, can they really take every word I say or little bits and pieces? Now, say for instance, they took bits and pieces of my advice, right? The first thing I'm going to ask them is, well, why you didn't take the whole advice? You know what I might hear? Because, no offense, you're you're very intuitive, but you're not coupled. So it's like it's like I'm single with a couple. Wouldn't I look like a third wheel? Wouldn't I look like a mistress? Wouldn't I look like someone that could possibly ruin a marriage based on my title being single? By society's norm, I would be considered single. With that, with two people next to me, they would just see me as a cool person, a good friend, someone that is energetic, has good advice. But again, if another couple came to them and say, well, who did you get your advice from? Because they had some good points. Well, the person is single. Wait, so they're single, you still use their advice? Well, not all the way. Well, when you want to use their advice all the way, would that be an insult to me? No. And I had to remind the people that asked for my advice. So let me see. All right, studio. Okay. Ah, well, okay. Now, I just said single, right? So if I'm single, that would mean I have a possibility of suitors around me, right? If you're single, then that means you can date. Now, again, I just said I'm looking at spousehood, but I would have to have some type of direction with that, right? I would either have to be around people that are spoused up to get some type of skill set of understanding where to go with that, even though I've been married before, but haven't been married at present, or dating. Okay, then I would have to ask, what would be dating then? Title is dating. Give me an example of what dating is in society. Now I know people in here. Give me an example of what dating is. Okay? I'm coming right back. Dating. My rice is done. Good. Okay, so that was good timing for that. Okay. Anybody, what do you consider dating? Okay? For me, I see it as if you're dating, letting some first of all, whoever comes in your space. Well, in my space, I would say, well, dating to me is seeing what we do around each other, like what we do apart. Um, Dating is like physically doing things together. That could be either taking walks. I love the outdoors. Um, Finding a hobby, a skill that that person likes to do, and they're finding out my hobby and skill, what I like to do, and try them out. Now, that's all physical, I just said. That's what you can do when you're dating. But then the question lies, are you dating monogamy or polygamy? Are you dating openly or one-on-one? Because those things determine the level. So I've dated one-on-one with someone, right? And I've noticed that their dating was, yes, spending time, yeah, going out, doing things, whether it be outside, indoors, it didn't matter. So that was cool. But then it was a determination on dating other people. Now, I've had open relationships before, and I had open, yeah, I had open relationships before. So I can say when a person will come and tell me about the dating, I'm like, oh, dating other people, cool, that's fine. Um, but is that just one way or both ways? So let me see. Do you think that is dating, when someone is dating, are you just dating that one person, or are you dating other people, and can that person date other people? Because the whole point is we're either playing or we're on the bench. Meaning, if I'm on a bench, I don't mind seeing the play of the title. Like if I wanted to date somebody, I would sit on the bench and see what dating looks like out here in society. And then, sit with that person on the bench too. Like, oh, you see what dating looks like? Is that what we gonna do? Oh, no, or yes, or okay, what way we gonna be dating? So let's see. Okay, let's see what the people say in the house. Okay, so what is all right. Hold on. What is mono games? That's something I gotta know. You're not into no games, or what is mono games? I'm learning too. Because again, this goes right back into, can a person really seek truth from someone that doesn't have the same title as you? Meaning, can a person really take my advice when it comes to relationship aspects and regarding couple or relationship, or I mean couple or spousehood? Now, yes, I'm looking to get to spousehood, but again, I'm single. So I could be single coupled, I could be single dating, I could be single in a monogamous, I could be single in an open relationship. Now, all these titles I had actually done before. So if it comes to getting off the bench to actually play that game, I don't mind playing all those games. Sometimes my problem is the person that wants to play those games really don't want to play those games, because like any game is rules in there, right? It's technicalities. Else how you know if you're scoring or not. So when we say that titles don't do nothing, like why do I need a title in a relationship? Well, it's going to give you some direction. It's like going for a job. If you just went in to work and you find out that this place is not really together with what you want to do to get a buck, then what you going to do? Just settle, like take what is there, or you're going to end up going that really resonate with what you're looking for based on the title. So let me hear. Well, let me see what's being said. Right? Okay. You in it to win it, right? And so when we in it to win it, then that means you want to go up to bat. You want to play in the game. Now the question is, what game are we willing to play with a person? We can know as an individual what we've been exposed to when it comes to relationships. But what game are we willing to play when it comes to that? Now that's a heavy thing, yes, but it can be really light. It's as simple as I play when it comes to my friends. And when I say play the game, meaning it's not like you're manipulating a person or using a person. Now, that could be a part of the game, but that is not the game itself. The game is the actual title. Meaning, if you're dating, you could be monogamous dating, or what do they call it now? Speed dating, where you at a table or somewhere and you got a timer. That's the whole point of the speed dating. You got a timer to time how much space you're going to use with this person to speak and see and, sense, using all the senses. Does this person really connects to you, sensually, sexually, sacredly, whatever way that you want to see fit based on that speed? So let's see what's up. Because a lot of people say, I don't want to play no games. I don't want to play no games. If you don't want to play no games, then you just sit on the bench. And there's nothing wrong with sitting on the bench. Because, again, I'm only saying this universal talk because this is topics that I'm being exposed to in the universe right now, in my atmosphere. And I think that what is being talked about right now, I'm looking for thoughts. And, yeah, I'm looking for thoughts on these topics. So let's see what's being said. Yeah, because Twin Flame, I've been in Twin Flames, and Twin Flames usually are lessons you're supposed to learn, yes. But a lot of times those lessons have to do with our thoughts on how we got together with that person. Like, when you're with that person, did you meet them at a time where you were doing your own thing and you felt you were giving yourself self-love, giving yourself more attention, and then that person came? That could have been, are you going to continue to give yourself self-love while being with another person? And and again, is it with as a friend, as a couple, as dating? These are all relationships, but just like a tree, you have different branches and different leaves for that same one tree. So let's see. I don't want to be alone either, but at the same time, I love myself too much than to bring somebody in my space where we're not synchronized together. Meaning, I could speak English, but doesn't mean my English is the same as that person's, because again, I'm saying titles, but based on that person's experience, they would have to tell me not only their thoughts, but that thought had been trailed before. A person doesn't just say a thought without it being trailed before, without it being walked before. So if I mention, well, I'm looking for spousehood, yes, but I like to see how we are around each other. So what do you want to do? Do you want to date? Do you would like to couple up? Would you like to just be and see where that could mean for us? Because me and that person holds the position to say what is it going to be. Even when you're with another person, you determine, like them, if that person's going to be your friend, a lover, side piece, mistress, wife material. It Again, these are all titles, but they all have reactions and emotions and energy that is put into them. So let's see. Let's see what is being said. Yeah, and that's the point. And that's the whole point of like the tarot card, being the fool. Oh wow. The Ace of Earth. The opportunity or the allowing. What are we allowing in our space? What can we what and when we say allow, that meant that we had to experience our level of patience and our level of acceptance too, on both sides of the bend. So again, I'm single, but if I had to be with someone, I would have to tell that person my exposure, sensually, sexually, sacred. I would have to see, like, really say, like, I'm, yes, single, but I would like to couple with someone. And if that means simply being around them or seeing what dating is first, then if they say, well, I want to start dating or see how this goes by dating you. Okay. What is the opportunity when it comes to dating in the environment? What is dating to you? Is dating me just dating you only? Or you just dating me only? Or we have the opportunity to date other people if we emotionally, energetically feel that way. And if we feel that it's other people going to be involved, then that would mean that it's a due diligence to be able to tell each other that that's being done. Like, I should be able to feel comfortable telling you, hey, I love dating. I'm loving this dating. I'm feeling you. I'm hoping you're feeling me when I'm dating you. But I'm also getting an offer to date another person as well. How do you feel, how do you feel about that? Or this is something that I should be talking about before we actually do the dating, right? So this is where understanding what does a person really want? What do you really want? Do you want to be coupled with somebody? Do you want to date them? And if so, or are you looking for a relationship? And if you're looking for a relationship, then that means you would have to surround yourself, or at least Yes, at least surround yourself or connect with someone, or someone that has that exposure at that moment. So if I'm looking to date, right, I would have to be around a single person that also is dating to see what's the duties on that, what can be done. Or I would have to be around a person that is single but wants to couple up. So again, I would have to look at another person that is single and coupled up to get a just understanding of the experience together in the environment. So let's see. And that's the thing. Okay, opening up. Opening up. Let's see. Opening up. Opening up. Right? Opening up. Let's see. Okay. The will. When a person opens up, they might feel, I know for me, it feels like you're taking a chance. First, you physically acknowledging that you got to open up about something. It has to be something that you feel aligned with, active in, or that's always been a part of you, a part of your life, a part of how you see things. And from that, then turning that wheel of conversation to see exactly what title you want to start with. So it all comes down to, then again, as that person is spinning the wheel, what are they going to be open to talk about? Are they going to be open to talk about their emotions? Are they going to be open to talk about what they like to do? And if that means you starting, just because you're starting to turn that wheel to communicate or willing to communicate, that person in some way, shape, or form is going to be willing to talk to you about something. It might not be in a way that you want, but you got to ask yourself, the will is this, whatever comes to mind. That's what's going to be the word of the topic. And based on the word that you say will determine, okay, what way can this conversation really go? Why? Let's see why. Because when we feel like we're missing an opportunity, it's mainly because what do we normally say? I knew what I wanted to say, but I didn't know if it was the right time to say it. Or I knew what I wanted to say, but it is too emotional for me. It's too much for me. So I just found a different thing to do. Found something else to say or do. Found another way to either deter the conversation or deter or divert whatever's in my world at that moment. But you know what? Even when we divert or distract or find a way to distance what we are wanting to say, in our environment, our feelings are there though. Meaning, even though I didn't say what I wanted to, my body language will show you it's something I really wanted to say. And that's what makes the person have that wanting to know, like that curiosity, like, wait, if you're holding something from me, that means you really, this must be really important. This must be something that's something emotionally or something that you had endured before, but you didn't know how to really embrace talking about it. Is that making sense? Let's see what's being said. Okay. And okay, and that now that's and it's so cool that you said that, Studio. Again in the class, whew, in the talk session, right? Studio mentioned something really good, that guys also get taken advantage of as well. So it's just a growing pair and jump in the deep, I guess. Now, it's interesting that you said that, Studio. I agree with you. I feel that I'm a woman, right? By appearance, I'm a woman. I am by gender a woman. I was born a woman, right? So you would think that I would just be, yeah, only women go through hurt and only women go through pain. That's not true. I've seen a lot of my male friends feel hurt, feel betrayed, feel confused, feel conflicted. And those same emotions that the male friends I have felt is the same emotions I feel as a woman. So a lot of times my male friends will be like, well, I feel like you. Why is it that universally it's being looked at as only women go through these emotions and not men? I'm like, well, let's look at it. In the world, how is men looked at? They're looked at as an individual that can express emotions, right? That doesn't show any reflections of feeling hurt. They are taught to rub some dirt on it, hide it, I guess be more masculine, whatever that is. Because when a person says be manly, you would have to actually tell them something physical to do to show how manly they are. And even that that's kind of questionable. So a lot of women, again, think that men don't have emotions, or that they don't have feelings, or that they don't have the same concerns or desires or drive that women do. And I'm be quick to tell a woman, no, they do. But they're not going to just hand it to any woman. It's just like a woman gets offered a lot of suitors, a lot of men that want to, stand up on them, like, want to, rep their case. Or better yet, a lot of men want to see if they could get in. I mean, women get offered relationships, get offered sex, get offered money, get offered a lot of things, right? But because of that, that makes us more stern and more on the sense of, okay, I can't give my body to anybody. Because universally, women are offered naturally that. So if a man came to me, they're like, well, they would have in the back of their mind, like, you're a woman, so I know many men have to be around you and offer you things. And then I would have to agree, yes. Do I take that? No. It's because what I want or what I don't want in the world. Same thing for a man. A man can have many women offer them attention, emotions, money, cars, credit cards, anything. Yet, because of that, does that mean that they're going to take every offer? No. So if a woman comes in their life like, well, I know you had to be offered all this money or cars or attention, and if the man says yes, what does that make a woman feel like? She can't feel like a threat, because in truth, she goes through the same experience. So this is where the confusion lies. Like, hey, woman, you go through the same experience I'm going through. So why is it that when I come to this or communicate this, it's now on some double standard? Oh, no, No. It's equal. And it's about time we as individuals really speak on that and stop tucking it under the rug. Because like anything, when you tuck something under the rug, it builds up. It doesn't lay flat. It's noticeable. It's like stuff in our closet. I know for me, when I know my friends was going to come over and my mom told me to clean the room and I forgot to clean my own room. And I wanted my friends to come over. You know what I try to do? I try to like stuff things in my drawers, try to stuff it like stuff it in the closet. And yeah, outwardly it looks clean, right? Until not even thinking, oh, I gotta put my coat up. I'm like, sure. But then I forgot. I have, I stuffed everything in my closet, so stuff is coming out. They're like, well, what's this? Hey, I didn't have time to clean. But then you know what that did make me be aware of? Well, I gotta admit that now I'm gonna have people in my space. So I better be prepared for that. Or if I'm not clean, or if I don't have things structured, then at least put them in a place where is universally public, like living room, rather than my room. Then if it's going to be in my room, then I got to be prepared to structure it a little bit better. That was it. Again, like Studio and a lot of you guys are saying, it's all about what you're willing to open up about. So let's see. Exactly. And we all live in society. So based on what society is not just taught us, but what we have been shown first. First, we got to be shown something. Or, again, we had to have titles, and the titles that was mentioned earlier, these titles are words. And based on words, we had to have a definition with them. And those definitions are coming from an emotional and energetic place. Because whoever wrote the definition had to have either done it or had it been done to them. Isn't that deep? I would have had to not only give you a word, but then I would have to give you a definition based on that word. So based on the word that you want in regards to a relationship, determines the definition you're going to give it. Now, when the person asks you, well, what made you come up with that definition? Are you going to really say how you came up with that? Or are you going to, as a person, just make it a missed opportunity to really dive into that? Because when we're around a person, then that means we have to have some level of feeling safe around them. Or else why be around them? No matter if you're around more than one person, first of all, you had to have some level of feeling safe, feeling stable. You already have self-love for yourself. So what is it that you want to do or discover? That's the real, is that, are we getting closer to why we have these titles in the first place? So let's see. Now, again, I have my beautiful daughter, yet I'm single, so I'm not with my daughter's father. And we were together for 12 years. And he wanted to marry me the first year we were together. At that time, we were 22. And I cared about him, and he cared about me emotionally, energetically. Yet, was that really enough to have a marriage with? Now, he wanted to marry me the first, the first going into the second year. So we dated when we were together, dating at 21. We made ourselves a couple when I was 22. So when we became a couple when I was 22, that's when he thought about marriage. Now again, at that time I was coupled with him. He seen spousehood, I didn't. And I never, at the beginning, I never told him why I didn't think of spousehood. And honestly, I was scared of it because my exposure to spousehood as a young person was either both parties didn't want to communicate. Seeing my mom, yes, be married, but also get HIV when she was married. Um, Even the outside world, when I seen people married, outside they look happy, but inside, like indoors, it was a lot of secrets. It was a lot of going outside of their relationship to find out how to solve it. And again, even as a young person, people would come. It has be my suggestions that I would just look at them like, I'm not married, so I don't know what to tell you. All I can tell you is find someone that is married. But then their thing is, well, that person is going to pretty much act like me, and I didn't know what they were talking about until I didn't say yes to my daughter's father. But what I did was stay with him for a long period of time because I felt I can't physically marry you, but I could common law marry you. And I didn't tell him that at first. And that was something I became very sorry about later on. Because again, that meant that I knew something in me, emotionally. I knew what wheel I was turning, but I didn't tell my significant other at that time the wheel I was turning. He knew what he wanted. He wanted spousehood. He seen that I had marriage material, which I could agree with him. I'm structured. I'm very supportive, sensual, sexual. We both had similar aspects and dreams and goals. So by paper, it looked like I would be the ideal match. But again, he was turning the wheel that he knew he wanted, but I was turning the wheel that, again, it would require me to tell him the truth on why I was scared of marriage, because my exposure and what I seen in society. I didn't see a real healthy, happy marriage. I haven't seen that. And when I did, they were older. And even older, they were truthful enough to tell me they had to endure a lot of things together. And be along for the journey together. That was something I did not want to do at 22 years old. So, again, I also had to look at, did I see him, my daughter's father, as a husband material? I had to say, yes, I did. But material, and did I see us as emotionally, energetically invested in that? No. So again, the material could be there, but is the passion there? Is the purpose there? Just because two people or one person can think marriage and another person can think common law marriage, it's still marriage. The name marriage was still there. The question is, was there any common ground we were going to get? And in truth, no, because it comes right back down to the title. He wanted marriage. I've been exposed to marriage, but not in a way where it looked magical and manifesting for both parties. Because again, I wanted equality. Like, I've seen what is out there. I'm like, well, if a person got to cheat, why don't they just tell each other what they like? But I had to be in a relationship to find out the reason why people don't tell each other what they like is being judged. Even if they say they open, let you go do it. I had open relationships. Again, I was open to the opportunity of experiencing being in a relationship with a person, but sharing them too. Because the first thing that came to mind is, I love myself so much that I'm not losing if you're with that person. All I can really ask of you personally is protect yourself. Sexually, protect yourself. Emotionally, protect yourself. Financially, protect yourself. That's all I can ask of you. Why? Because I would ask that of a friend. I do that for my own friends. When they needed protection, I would take their behind to a free clinic. Let's get the checkups together. Let's get the, HIV test together. And they'd be like, well, why would you do that for me? I'm just your friend. And I'd be quick to remind them. I had to see my mother be married and have HIV. I've seen people that loved each other and then gave each other STDs. So, as long as you're in my atmosphere, that's not happening. Now, I can't say that for anybody that you with outside of me, but at least you can know when you're with me, this is my values and standards. Go ahead, you could play. Yes, you could play. But when you play, what you got to do? You got to gear up. You got to suit up, right? You got to have your cup. Depending on what game you playing. If you're playing basketball, you have a cup. Got to have a bat, helmet, all that. I play baseball. I play football, defense. Had to have the pads, the helmet, knees. Just because they want to do that little the underhanded. I love that part. To flip over. I play volleyball. You got to make sure your wrist is, that your agility, you light, and that you a team, you can move around. But again, you got to know the plays. So, let's see what's being said. Marriage doesn't mean anything today. It's convenience, status, stability. You know what? Love is out the door. You know what's so funny? Marriage is overrated. Because our perception of how we do marriage in the first place. If you really look at it, the relationship that you have right now is a marriage. Whether it be a friend that you have, that's a marriage. Because they got to know your secrets. They got to know your health. They got to know something about your emotional cup. They got to know your ticks. They got to know your flaws. They got to know your vices and still love you unconditionally. That sounds like a marriage to me. If that's too deep, okay. Our careers or our profession. The first thing they say is you got to do things that you love. You got to do something that you love, right? If you're doing something that you love, isn't that a first stage of marriage anyway? Love, unconditional love for it. What did they say? I love my job. I love my career. I love what I do. That is like a marriage. You have to give dedication, energy, stability. You got to put money into it. You got to invest in it. You got to put your emotions in it. I can honestly say, I love going on the radio. I love doing tarot card readings. I love doing the arts. But do you know what that meant for me to do that? I had to come out of my pocket. To darn near, it looks like I'm broke, but nah. I just don't, I'm not of that upper class, but I'm not in the street either. But I don't have no money to actually spend on myself. But I have a roof over my head. I have food in the fridge. I have clothes on my back. But do I have money to spend for myself? Nah, but I have money to spend for my daughter. I have money to spend for my daughter, and I have money to spend for my passion, which is the arts. This is part of it. So, this is like a marriage to me. This is a marriage to me. Even when it comes to our family. Our family, do we get along with our family all the time? No, we don't. But you know what? We can relate and we have a deeper bond with our family. What they say, blood is thicker than water. So Again, it's our perception of marriage. Like, if we're thinking we're not doing the marriage, then what are we doing? What are we doing when we date? When we date someone? What are we doing when we have one-on-one relationships with somebody? What do we used to hear? Well, I'm quite sure. Let me hear. Have you ever heard this term? You playing house? Have you ever heard that term? You're playing house? Or, oh, this is puppy love. Let me hear what's the thoughts? What's the thoughts? Because the thoughts is going to connect to what we feel fiery about, and what we truly manifest in that concept. So what's up? Let's see. Let's see what's being said. Let's see. Oh, hi, Sandra. What's going on? Hey, let's see what Sandra's saying, too. Deal with all of that or be alone. Yep. I choose to be alone. It's lonely, but I've seen and been through too much of it. Watch my mom and dad chest of each other my entire childhood. Wow. Only faithful relationships I saw were with my grandparents and great-grandparents. Okay. Now that's the thing. Hey, you're beautiful too, Sandra. Right, and that's the thing. Like, and that was what was mentioned earlier. Sandra in studio definitely was talking about this too. That we usually see this with our grandparents, right? A long relationship. But you know what? They were once our age too. And their views on dating was not dating like we do. Dating to them was like you had to have a suitor. Like, dating, you didn't even have condoms then. So dating was out the question, because dating pretty much would mean you might end up do the do. You know, get down and dirty. You know, that was in the womb. They first start off with the kissing, touching. Then it goes to something else deeper, right? And when you could tell when that happened back in the day, because the baby was made. And you know what would happen if you weren't ready? You would send it to an uncle, aunt, or another grandparent until you got of age. So really, we would even have to ask our grandparents, in your time, what was dating like? Define what was dating. Can you give me a description of what is dating? What did y'all do as dating? Did y'all even date? Could y'all date? Were y'all allowed to date? Meaning, again, depending on the time period, it was no such thing as a condom. So then you wonder why having separate beds would make sense. They're not trying to, it looked like they're trying to make chastity look real comfortable and clever, but really it was to control how you use your sensual and sexual urges. And it's not to say you couldn't, but it was more of, if you didn't know what your sexual urges could do without protection, we now know because we have now condoms. Guess how we got the condoms? Maybe because of our elders. They like, I wanted to play, but I ain't want to play and be prepared for something else. I wanted to play, but I didn't want to be a parent. I wanted to talk to a woman because, again, the time period also tells. If now I'm in a time period where I can actually talk to a girl without worried about marrying her, without jumping the broom quite quick, then I'm going to talk to other people, but then I'm now have a new territory that I'm not sure of, which is I'm talking to people and I might want to do the people I talk to. Then what? I'm going to have to find a clever way how to, put it, take out, pull out, without worrying about that. Or if I'm not thinking of that physical contact, then if I'm talking to a person, I gotta be very clear at some point on, I like talking to you and other people. And if they get mad, it's like, well, how can you get mad, sweetheart, when we came from a time period where talking to other people would have cost us a problem? Talking to somebody meant you had to marry them. It was no, I want to talk to see if we match or if we gonna fall in love. What? What? No. We got marriage. What you talking about? Your thoughts, your feelings. Okay, but you better make sure that person that you saying that to has that same mindset. Or when you got married, you found out when you got married if they had that same mindset. See, we now in 2019, so we could actually be exposed to that and not have to worry about what the title is going to do. So let's see what's being said. A twin flame path and being alone is not healing. Healing is needed for you to start trusting in peace. Yeah. And guess what? When you trust in peace, studio, you're right. Trusting in peace. And as you're trusting in peace, then it's like trusting the people within you first. It's like you your own counsel. You're your own friend. Me, myself, and not. Like Beyonce say, before you trust another peep, you better trust your peep, which is you, the person of you. Because when another person tells you what you should do or what you, then you can say, well, would I practice that though? If I don't, then I'll listen to it. I'll take it with a grain of salt. I'll listen to the advice. Don't mean I'm going to allow it in my space though. And if they ask me, the first thing I got honestly say is, when you said that as a person, that's not something I would have practiced. If I did, I would have to really ask myself, is it a problem solver or is it going to turn me into a problem? So, there's nothing wrong with being alone. But we're never really alone. We always have family, friends, other people in our lives that we do talk to. It's just not in the way that we want. But then we got to ask ourselves, if we wanted to have a relationship, what kind of relationship is it? What title is it? Is it dating? And if so, what kind of dating is it? Is it an open dating? Is it a closed dating? Is it a monogamous dating? Is it a polygamy dating? If you're single, when you're single, do you want to be open to how it feels to be dating other people? If you're single, would you like to experience how it feels to be coupled with somebody? And if so, coupled in what way? Coupled as seeing how the connection is going to be. And what kind of connection do you want? Do you want it to be physical? Do you want it to be emotional? Do you want it to be sexual? Do you want it to be passionate? These words will give the person an understanding of what way they could play with you. Or else they're going to have to sit on a bench and just talk about it first with you. And that's good enough. I'd rather talk to the person to say, okay, this is what I'm thinking about. What you thinking about? Okay, and until we get some equilibrium up in here, then we'll push forward. Until then, I don't mind flirting with you. I don't mind talking to you. I don't mind going out physically out in the world. I don't mind getting physical with you. But it's all about what I want while I'm on the bench with you talking about this before we physically play that game. Because when I play to win. I'm a Taurus. We all about triumph. We all about testing them waters too. So, based on what you tell, if you tell a Taurus, hey, I want to date, but I want to be able to date other people. Like, okay. You know what we hearing when you say that? That means I can date other people too. that means I could be with you and date other people too. Now, when I date other people and I'm truthful enough to tell you this, and I'm not doing it in a boastful way, I'm not doing it in a matter of fact way. I'm like, yo, I feel you. I know that we trust each other to a certain level. Let me tell you what's going on in my environment, or in the foundation I'm making. And if that is bothering you, then my question would have to be, well, why is it bothering you? Is it something? Do you want something more? And if you do, then we got to talk. We got to sit back on the bench. Let's sit on the couch. Let's take a walk, like Jill Scott, if we got to, and see how we can turn this conflict into a comfort for both you and I. So when we manifest, or when I'm thinking of manifesting, I have you in mind when I'm doing that. Because if not, then why am I moving with you? Why are you moving with me? If I can't even acknowledge that I'm with somebody, at least in talking, then I should be at least truthful with them. I don't have to have a spouse or a marriage relationship to be at least truthful to them. Like, this is what's up. Because you know what? If one day they say I want a relationship and they know what kind of relationship they want with me, they now have receipts on how I handle myself and what I was doing. And vice versa. We want to have some physical receipts. Yes, it's good to talk, but as you talk, at some point, like the tutors, you're going to be doing something. You're going to be twinkling. You're going to be doing that. You're going to be what do you call it? Twinkler, or someone that is good with the tools. So let's see what's being said. Okay, working on trust. Discernment has come a long way. Yes, I'm usually discerned before concerned. I'm usually discerned because I'm looking at the deeper situation. I'm looking at every dimension of what is being done. Why? So that way, if the person, because again, emotions are hard to describe at times. Sometimes we got to give a reference, a music, movie. The best thing I could do is, again, before I even came on to do this topic, right? I had asked first, is talking about this topic really a good time? And these are the 3 songs that came out. Okay, the first song was That's the Way Love Goes by Janet Jackson. The second song was Footsteps in the Dark by the Isley Brothers. And the last song was My Girl by The Temptations. Now, when you listen to those 3 songs later on today, whenever you get a chance, I'm going to most likely put on Keykeys Doorway song list to make it easier. You'll see that no matter if we try to tuck this under the rug, when we are with someone that we truly feel connected to, titles are going to be mentioned. Titles are at least going to be like a fundamental conversation. It's like a friendship. You figure out what kind of friend you have. Do you have a go outside friend? Do you have a party friend? Do you have a friend that can, go shopping with? Do you have a friend that can push you when it comes to your drives? Do you have a friend that brings out your sexual side? Do you have a friend that brings out your sexuality where it feels safe? Now, this friend that I'm saying is not just one friend. Each title is different friends. Now, depending on your face-to-face conversation or face-to-face interaction, emotionally, energetically, you'll pretty much know what friend you have. If you want to go out drinking, you know which friend to call. I know what friend I could call if I want to go out drinking. I know what friend I could call when I want somebody to really get me to think about the steps I want to take in my career. I have friends where if I want to bring out what I feel sexually, and I'm trying to figure out why that's on my mind, I know people that I can talk to, friends I can talk to for that. when it comes to spousehood. If I'm concerned or more want to discover what that is, I know friends I can talk to when it comes to spousehood. But again, based on my exposure being around each person, determined how I was going to give them that title. And the title was based on what they were exposing me to, what they allowed me to see in their world as well. So let's see what's being said before we get out of here soon. We got, what, 10 more minutes. Now, it's interesting you said that, Sandra. And because of our exposure to, this goes back to childhood, we got the number 4. Either 4 years ago or when the age of 4 is where we're getting also our first fundamental views on relationships. So at 4, my first experience seeing relationships were domestic violence. Not domestic violence, then staying for the children's sake. But that was hurting both the man and the woman. Yet they loved each other, though. It had to be love there before they made that next decision. The thing that always used to discern me is, well, why, if you love each other, why you just can't tell that title that y'all putting together in the mix, because it takes 2 to tangle. If y'all both setting that trend, why do y'all not want to stick together with it? If you stand for the kids, then staying for the kids is not just a physical thing. You got to be emotional invested in it, energetically invested in it. You got to really appear like you with the children and you love them, and that's true. You love your kids. That wasn't the problem. That wasn't the sliding scale there. The issue became where something in the relationship, in the marriage, did not feel like it was being manifested together, making both parties feel happy and not just one over the other, but both of them feeling equally yoked in it. And again, doesn't mean that because I've been exposed to that firsthand that that's what I would want in my life. Because again, I had common law marriage. I had, all my relationships were either 2 years or longer. If I had short relationships, they knew it was this for the physical and nothing more. So once I was physical, I'm done with you. I'll feed you, I'll bathe you, I'll massage you, I'll make you feel comfortable because you're in my space. But once I'm done, then you gotta go. Hey, I'm nice enough to give you some car fare if need be. Or, if depending on when is, the physical is being done, like this is way too late at night, I'll be like, nah, I'll wait. I'll let you, sleep until the next day at this time, at this particular time. When this particular time is done, you got to go. And when they first say, well, why is that? Because I know what I'm doing in my life. Like, I'm doing other things, and I know what this really is, and you know what this really is. So we're not going to go past the playing field on this. And again, it's going back to being physical, like really being honest with that. And if a person says, well, how do you come up with that? Well, I've been violated before at 9. And that's when I was like physically developed at 9. I had my menstrual at 9. My boobs that you see right here, look. These boobs are the same size boobs I had, maybe a little smaller, but it was always big at 9 years old. Same body structure, just a little slimmer, big boobs, a little slimmer, and person wanted to touch on my boobs, and it happened to be a father figure. Now, as a face-to-face value, I would have trust with this person because it's a father figure. And that was on both ends. If I'm a young person, you know that you're trying to guide or, be of a guidance of some nature. But again, I had to learn at a young age, if this person is not my biological father, this person is still a man. And at the same time, I'm a young woman. So your body is developing. So my first exposure to the person touching my breast was a father figure. And I felt really conflicted about it because I'm like, well, you're supposed to be a father figure. Why are you touching my boobs? I'm not exposed. Like, I'm wearing regular clothes. I'm coming up to get, food, to get downstairs, like any other day. But yet, hold on for a second. My sis is just calling. That's interesting because she's around the time when I had gone to, like, not physically gone through it, but I had to reveal that part to her, and she had to hear it from the person's mouth himself. He just didn't know that someone was next to me when he was speaking. And she thought, she didn't know. Of course, no one wants to tell that tale and it not be truthful. A lot of people tell the tale and it might not be truth. But for me, that wasn't something I wanted to tell as a tale. So for her to hear it was like, so she was like, is that why when it comes to your physical body, you don't mind showing it, or it doesn't bother you? Like, no, because someone already touched my body. So why would I now be concerned about my body image? But in reality, I was starting to be concerned about that, because that made me feel that, wait a minute, the title was a father figure. I'm a young person. I'm not even a teenager yet. So if this is, now I didn't give this person that title. It just so happened that that title was on them based on who he was exposed to in my world. But at the same time, the next title is he's also a man. Now, that's not to say that women don't do the same thing. It's also cases where men get violated by women when they were young. So again, the title does tell you something, because in a way to understand how to heal that aspect, you got to say, well, yes, the title could have been that they'd have been maybe a mother-in-law or an auntie or a stepmother. That's the title. But another word also is gender too. What gender was it? A woman. Okay, they were women, but what kind of woman was that? Was there a woman that had the mindset of only speaking in that tone to people their own age? Or did they have the same sense of saying, well, I can speak to this young person a certain way, because now the next question is, did that person that violated me touching my chest, did someone violated that man? Because before my mom passed away, she got a PhD in psychology. And guess who had to be up late at night to study with her while being in high school? And she did get her PhD in psychology before she passed away. So I had to read about a lot of different topics. And this was one of them. And my mom had a reason to really understand that, because she knew her daughter was violated, and she was like, nah, I'm not having no man around my child. But that also made my mother aware of, just because you give this person a title doesn't mean that you also got to look at the title that the universe or society gives people too. Not just the title you give that person. You also got to look at the universal title that people are giving each other. And that's something she kept into mind. So after that situation, that has not ever happened to me ever again. That was my first and only time that type of situation happened. Now, not to say that I haven't been exposed to being taken advantage of or of that nature, but at least when it came to molestation or of that, no. Once my mom was aware of looking for those signs. And the only way you can know by signs is what? By title. The title gives it a word, and the word gives it a definition. If not, then you wasting your time and somebody else's time, because the first thing they're going to do is say, well, what are you doing? Well, this person is this to me. Okay? Are you making sure that they know that they are to you like that? Because if you don't, you would still have to walk with them for you and that person to find out what it really is. So let's see. Yes, Sandra. Yes, Studio is telling you the truth. Like, Studio, Sandra, am I saying anything that's wrong? Because again, I had to admit to you guys in this talk session that I had that exposure to. When we do universal talk, I'm not going to just talk about a universal talk without telling my truth. That's how I get down in my reality. And this is why the topic was, does a title really do anything? And it does, because if somebody asks me for advice, then I would say, well, at what angle are you coming at for me to answer that for you? And it was like, oh no, I'm just asking. But you ask me based on the angle that you really want to be answered, and you got to be very clear with that. Because if you don't, I'm going to give you an answer, but it might not be really what's up. You know what I mean? It's like, if you ask somebody, let's see, how do I prepare to engage with somebody? And engage doesn't mean that you got to be engaged like literally a ring on your finger. Engage mean like to engage in conversation. To engage is, you know what you definitely are embracing, right? It's all about what you're about to embrace. Engaging is, I'm about to embrace something. I'm about to engage. I'm engaging in a conversation with you. I'm engaging in flirting with you. I'm engaging in playing with you. How do I engage in being playful? Right? So, what is being playful about? How do I be playful? What is that playful side? Or, how can I show my passionate side? Why do a person need to show a passionate side, right? Let's see. Why do we need to show a passionate side? Let's see. Because the Ace of Air, because when we show a passionate side, in our environment, that's when we're really aligned with who we are. When we're really passionate in our environment, have you noticed, it's like when you feel yourself, that's when people feel your energy of you feeling yourself, and then they want to come to you. And the first thing you're going to think is, well, why are they coming to me? And they're going to tell you, because it's something about your swag. It's something about who you are. I'm feeling right now. And so I'm around your perimeter, then I can understand what I've been allowed to see or allowed to feel when around you as a person. So let's see. Now we were talking about magic, right? Let's see what the cards say about magic. What do the cards say about magic? Because I got a few words. I got that's tantalizing talking. Ten of Earth. Ten of Earth. Okay, we gonna captivate this one right here. We gonna tease this topic real quick. Magic. Magic. When we think of magic, we think of a spell, right? You know what I think? This is my thought. Or from my mind's eye to think of a thought to say in that topic. A spell is either using your senses or a spoken word. What you guys are doing right now is a spell. You're having words that makes a paragraph, right? That makes a paragraph. That makes a sentence. And based on that sentence, gives off an energy on what is to be done. And if you think I'm playing, you think I'm BSing, because I'm a bull. And a lot of times they think bulls are BSers. I don't know about that. But we gonna stick to topic. If you want to bring out your seductive nature or your sensual nature, like if you wanted to seduce somebody, what are the one or two things you most likely won't do? You either going to use your senses, smell, sight, taste, touch, hear. You're going to use your senses, whether that means what you physically wearing, what you physically putting on so that person can smell you. How do you physically appear when you're putting on that wardrobe? So before you even say a word, we do have a thing called, and this is a universal, called body language. Body language is an actual language. Meaning, if I'm shy, but I want to seduce you, what am I wearing? What am I smelling like? How do I have my hair? How am I looking at you? What emotions am I thinking about in my mind before I say a word? That will let you know if I'm into you or not. Isn't that true? Isn't that so? Let me ask to talk. Let me ask. Studio, Sandra, people in the talk waves. Yep, and Studio is saying it right. The heart. But we just broke down the heart. The heart is showing what? Will. Your power in your will. And we all have free will. How do we know that? By the way we act. Because based on how we act, a person can say, well, why did you do that? Because I can. I have free will. Yeah. So, let's see what's being said. Either body language or spoken word. You're speaking. That's a spell. We all are witches and warlocks. We need to get over this. Because if that's the case, then we wouldn't be shunning particular people that naturally say they are compared to the ones that don't. Because even the ones that don't are the ones that really do. Because they naturally know where it comes from. Remember, which is a wise one. So if you want to seduce somebody, how can you seduce them? One way is body language. The next is what you say. We naturally do spells every day. Everybody. Ooh, everybody does spells. You didn't know. You didn't know? When you want something done, what do? You do something. You do something. See how that S, and I'm a Scorpio ascending, Scorpio rising. Yeah. So let's see what's being said. It is hard to let go. So let's see. Is a spell now? What is a spell? Because a spell, a witch, is a person that can do spells. A witch is a person that can manifest, right? Right? Can manifest. So, if the word witch bothers you, then you know what? I could use, this is where the thesaurus comes into place. Manifester. Are you a manifester? Do you know how to make things happen? If you say yes, you know how to make things happen. I think you do, because as a human, we know how to make things happen. Then you are a magician. Naturally. You know how to put your clothes on. You know how to make your hair. You know how to make your bed. You know how to make your body look good. You know how to make your swag look even more, stimulating to others. You know how to magnetize self-love within yourself where it oozes out like honey. You know how to make things happen by saying, watch me. Watch me do it. And then people are like, nah, watch. And we make things happen. So, what's being said? What's being Yes, Sandra. Yes, studio. And it is. Spells are the same as praying. And another way to say this, going back to the thesaurus, when you're doing a spell, right? Spell. What is this word here? We can either say the or the. Depend on where you come from. And depend on your accent or, the way you have learned English. You could be learning the old English, Indo-European, like around Shakespeare period, Renaissance, where it's all about thee and thy. If you are past the 16th century and you know that it can be translated a certain way, then you would say the. If you say the or the, it's spelled the same way. How? Because based on the letters that are here. T, H, TH makes the sound. Then the, that E could be a sound, or kind of, this made it look fancy. E always makes a word look fancy. But then, you know what? E is also from a Latin word. E in Latin is also what, an A sound? So it's how you are spelling the actual word out, which will let me know what it means. That is the spell right there. How do you know what is the word chicken? You're going to have to do what? Spell it out. Right, Krystal?
Yeah.
Okay. That's my daughter. Okay. You want to pick one for the talk? And then you go back, because I'm about to be finished so I can fix the rest of their food. Don't worry, guys. I gave her something to snack on, so she's not, like, hungry. Guess what she picked up? 3 of Earth. Teamwork makes the dream work. Being creative with a team. That's what we're doing right now. We're being creative. We're spreading our thoughts about this topic. And we're doing it in a physical space, like, and we're coming up with ways that this topic is endured and executed out here in the world. Hey, Miss Ori. Hey, guys. So let's see what Ori Studio Sandra is saying. Let's see. Oh, my food in the kitchen. I got yellow rice. I'm about to make, and mind you, we had some ground turkey yesterday, ground turkey chili I made. But because I wanted to do a little light, I'm saying, okay, I want to do rice and beans with a little bit of turkey, like turkey on the side, like ground turkey, or like turkey, like a frank, like franks and beans. Honestly, with yellow, with white rice and lettuce. Honestly, because I'm not doing like the big meal this Friday because I've done a lot of physical cooking and then taking my daughter out sometimes. I had to balance that. Like sometimes I don't mind taking my daughter to get something outside to eat, and a lot of times I don't mind cooking. But again, even what I cook, I gotta moderate how much meat we get, how much starch we intake, all that stuff now. Because she's at the age of turning 9. And again, I just mentioned earlier, when I was 9, I was physically developed the way you see me now. And my daughter is developing in the same fashion. And I was realizing based on what I was eating and what I was exposing myself to compared to what my mom wanted me to stay exposed to. She knew that I was made to be more of a vegetarian, more, I can eat meats, but I would have to eat meats on special occasions or, be very moderate on that. And I can't do too well on starch because I'm an A blood type. So a lot of the starch at times would turn into sugar for me. And if I'm not too careful, I could turn into a diabetic. So again, knowing the titles of who I am as a physical lets me know how to operate, and my daughter, because my daughter's a B blood type like her father. So I had to know what foods that I can feed her too at the same time. So that can become a little funny because she's like me. If we can have it our way, we don't like to eat. We like to drink a lot of water and juice. We like water and juice. If we're not drinking water and juice, we like fruits and vegetables. We like meat, but because we active, we like to move around. We still act like a nomad. So at times, if we can't hold it and eat it, it's like, why even bother? But we know by society norms, we are supposed to have a meal. So this is our way of having a meal right on Friday. So let's see. Nah, I ain't burning up. Yeah, I made sure when I left earlier to turn off that rice because I'm quick, guys, to burn some rice. If it's not, now this is funny, I won't burn jasmine rice. I won't burn I think basmati rice, like the thin rice. I won't burn that. But when it's brown rice, white rice, and then depending on the brand, I tend to burn it at the bottom. So I now had to learn from my sis yesterday, Nefis, aka Nikia, had to learn from my friend that we known each other for 10 plus years. So I consider her family. Like that's my sister. I had to ask her, like, how can I cook rice without burning it? And she taught me real quick. And I used what she said, and it didn't burn. Now, you know why I asked her? Because, again, she's with her husband. She has a spouse. And her rice is always on point. So, again, I said, I'm looking at spousehood. And who better to ask somebody about cooking than somebody that's already married? Like, how do you make that rice? Now, I can make some chicken. I can make some beef stew, curry, pasta, seafood. I know how to get somebody to stay here. Like I said, all my boyfriends, girlfriends, they last longer than a year, I tell you that. Even the ones that were like one-on-one, but we just wanted a physical thing. I still cook. I love cooking. I love catering. Like, again, I have that spouse material type of ness about me. I love to cater to people. If you're with me, I see you already as a partner. So I'm going to treat you like a partner. I'm not going to treat you like someone I'm just dating, because if I'm just dating you, then I would have said I'm just dating you. And I would show you what way I'm going to tell you what way I'm dating you. Now, I had to learn that. Meaning I knew certain things I did, and I told them. They thought I was playing until they see me do it. And he was like, oh, Dad, I thought you were talking. I ain't just talking. Then how would you trust if I'm just talking? That wouldn't make sense. How would I trust you if you just talking? It got to be equal. So, again, let's see. Okay, so we're about to end this, guys. So, what did the talk, how did the talk, what did the talk make us know? That we are the knight of air. That how we look at titles is all about what we have gone through. So when you think of a title that you give a relationship, ask yourself what you have gone through to come to that title. And then ask yourself, what is, that's the title, but then what is the front page fun of it? Like, if it's what we have gone through, then I could say, yes, I am single and I would like to see how it looks and feels to be with somebody. I would like to see how it looks to couple with someone. And I would like to see how it feels to date someone. I would like to see how it feels to be prepared for spoushood with someone. But the first thing that comes to mind is being single and just simply being with somebody. Like, how would it be to be with somebody? And finding out what do they feel when it comes to the word be. So ask yourself, when it comes to relationship, what kind of relationship are you looking for? What do you really feel that you can prepare yourself for, that you can actually practice right here and right now? Not something that you think you want to be practicing later on. Like, nah, what can I really physically practice right now? I could say I can be single and passionate with a person. I could be single and couple with them and show that passionate side, that supportive side, self-love, unity, endurance, exoticness, unity. These are things I could really do right now. So when you know exactly in a clearer detail what you have gone through and what you want to go through right now, what are you willing to go through? What do you want to go through? Not what are you willing to go through, what do you want to go through when it comes to relationships? I want to simply just be with a person. I want to see how that simply feels like to have someone want to be around me, that I want to be around them. How does it feel like? How does it turn out to be? I'm not quick to marry someone. I told you, it took that person to be around me for 7 years to have that common law marriage, but we lasted for 12 years before we ended it. So that person don't have to worry about me like forcing them to marriage. I like the journey. But in order to take that journey, I like to know where we stand, as clear as day. So that way no one's feelings get hurt. We could always talk things out. We could always figure it out together and still have that friendship energy. Okay? Why you can't sleep that well? Studio, why you can't sleep that well? Yes, the journey is everything, but the journey is everything. That's what gives us the justification. That's what gives not only you, but that person justification on what is being done. The journey doing the things, the journey in doing. But in doing, both parties got to know what they're doing. Either are we on the bench to talk about these concepts before we physically play that game, or are we physically in that game? We just need to know we playing it. Because sometimes you can know you're, a person could say I want a relationship with you, but you didn't even know you were in a relationship with them. Or you knew you were in a relationship with them, but to what level, what playing field are you? So again, I'd rather be on the bench with this person to know what we're about to do before we do it. That's even more beautiful. That's more of a blessing in disguise. Like, before we play together, because we're going to play together. Like ball, we're going to play. Like race cars, we're going to play. We're going to roll out. Like any sport, we gonna do the darn thing. But before we do the darn thing, let's know what kind of game we want to play together. So we know what tempo we working with. So we know how to really start this, how to really see it through in our own way together. Because we call the shots together. It's you and I and you. We. Not me anymore, because me, I could just be by myself. But since you're talking to me and I'm talking to you, now that me turned into we, so let's see what we can do together. If you don't want to see what we can do together, then again, at least you still know what you want to do. So, let's see. Yes, a twin can definitely help you to see things a little bit more, like to really see what really needs to be thought out, what really needs to be talked about. A twin flame really brings out what you want to, what you need to talk about. Because when you talk, that means you're about to start doing something. I know that I had two twin flames in my world before. Not together, but separate times in my life. And both were Geminis. And I can honestly say that they both in their own way helped me to see that the things that I wanted to run away from was the things that I really wanted and needed, not just from them, but from myself. I just wanted to have that journey with someone in regards to seeking those things out together. So when it comes to a twin flame, yeah, they really get you to talk about the things that you feel are treasure, you feel are tedious, you feel that are tantalizing, you feel that are toxic, you feel that gives you triumph, you feel that gives you a trouble. They're there to have you talk it. Because as you talk it, that meant that you experienced it or you have been exposed to it. If you haven't, then that means it's something you want to do. And your twin flame is going to keep teasing you, teasing and taunting you until you talk about it. And I know I'm not wrong because I've, again, in my reality, in my atmosphere recently, been like this for quite some time, that people that are coming to me have twin flame soulmate situations. And I'm having a soulmate situation. I had a twin flame before. Now I'm having a twin flame / soulmate mixed with a karmic in it. So when it comes to twin flames, yeah, they could taunt you until you talk about it. They will tease you until you really want to do what you really felt and passions to do anyway. It's just like a teammate. It's like a trainer. Your trainer, you talk to your trainer what you wanted, and guess what your trainer got to do? Make sure to stick to a particular teaching to make sure that happens for you. So when you get tired and you be like, oh, I feel like giving up, you know what your trainer got to tell you? Okay, to give up. Why would you tell me? I'm here to train you on based on what you talked about. If you are talking that you're tired, I can't do nothing. When you want to do something, you will, I guess we'll be training. That's some trainers. Some, it depends on how they learned how to, get in the groove of training someone. See? Sandra is right. So think about that. Have that be on your thoughts, because I got to go before my daughter gets on me. Okay? So, yeah. When you make the title, what is it really doing for you? How is it really making things get done for you? And how do you want to do things when you have those titles? So that way, once you know these things, when a person comes in your space, you know what to say, what to talk about, and what may be done. So if this universal talk resonates with you, press the like button, because I would like to make this something that can definitely go a long way, can be talked and discussed and seen in our reality if these things hold true. It's like, yes, I do a universal talk in the doorway, but these talks, like the class and like the zodiac signs, I do in my reality. So I would have to actually talk to, a single person that simply likes to be. I would have to talk to a single person that is thinking about coupling up. I would have to be around single people that are thinking about spousehood and see which one do I really want. I know I want spousehood because I feel that that's something I've always been scared of, because I didn't feel safe in that concept of spousehood. Now I feel safe in the concept of spousehood. Now that I feel safe about that concept, now I got to see what it looks like. And in other areas and dimensions, it goes by. Because spousehood is in so many shapes, ways, and fashion. You could see spousehood in friendships. You could see spousehoods in careers. You could see spousehoods in an actual spouse. You could see spousehood in the things that you love. And I'm finding out that I've been practicing spousehood based on what I love to do right now. And I love the art, so I'm going to be seeing, like, what way would I marry my art before I even think about doing that physically with another. So at least I can have some type of concept to call upon. So what do you think, guys? All right, guys, so think about that. What do titles do for you? And what can it do for you? What has it done for you? What can it do for you? And having those titles, what does it allow you to have access to when it comes to talking, when it comes to trailing that journey? Okay? All right. If you like this universe talk session, definitely press the like button. Yes, subscribe. Yeah. And share the reading, the talk with others, because this is a universal topic. And the more people are being exposed to this universal topic, the more we can actually get some answers, some antidotes, at least some direction. So we ain't, going in the deep, rolling in the deep like Adele, and be like, yeah, you could have had it all. Like, I don't want to, if I got to roll in the deep, I better make sure that that level of deepness I'm going in is also the deepness I'm willing to go, because I wanted to. Not because I just happened to stumble upon it. That could be true, but if I stumble upon it, then I got to tell what's being done. So does that person too. It's not just me, it's also that person. It's not just you, it's also that person. So yeah, definitely share this talk to others and see what they say, what they got to say. And leave it in the comment box. Definitely email me, Gmail me. Everything is in the description box below, guys. So I love you guys. I love you for coming and talking with me about this topic, because this really is passionate to me. The things I talk about is really passionate to me. It's passionate because I've not only been in that parameter, I've been pushed in that area, I've been pulled in that area, I practice in that areas, and I feel very passionate about it as well. So can't wait to see you. And when you press the subscribe button, definitely press the bell, because the bell will let you know whenever I'm on. So that way, now I don't have to tell you guys, oh, I'm going to do a class session this day, and because I'm not all the way Taurus. My little moon is in Pisces. My Gemini is in Aries. So I'm very active, and as an active being, I have to admit this now, Scheduling can be a little sporadic. I didn't think I would I didn't think I'll be able to tell that, but again, if I'm practicing to do spousehood, I gotta be real. Like my Uncle Nick said, that's in the heavens. Uncle Nick said you gotta keep it real. I'm quite sure people, your peeps, had to tell us to keep it real. So, keep it 100. Keep it 100 with yourself. Ask yourself this. Okay? Titles. What does it do? How's it being done? And can you really stand by it? All right. A lot to think about. But in a tantalizing manner. Right. See you guys. Press that bell button. Because I can't tell you guys when I'm going to be on. I'm just going to be on. When I feel it, I'm going to be on. I'm all about emotions. I'm all about that energy. I'm all about that passion. So, whenever I feel passionate, I just get up on there. When I feel like doing the darn thing, I just get up on it. I'm usually like that in reality anyway. So, I will just stick to it. All right, bye.